In this short video, I'm going to walk you through the process of importing references into your EndNote Web or EndNote Basic, the free version. You can get to it at www.myendnoteweb.com, and after you create the account, which should be pretty easy to do, they have pretty good instructions for that, you should see something like this. So this is your home page with your references right here. So these are all of my references. I have quite a bit because I have been doing research for quite some time. And the really cool feature of EndNote, which makes it different from most other citation softwares, so for example Zotero will not do that, is the group sharing feature. So if you see this little icon here with two little people, that just indicates that this folder, so family care and health or gender and caregiving, are shared folders in my library, which means that me and somebody else, somebody I am collaborating with, has access to these folders. So we can see the updates we might make to certain sources, we can see each other's research notes that we can take, and so on. So that makes it really neat if you are working with somebody, or if your advisor perhaps wants to see your progress on collecting sources, or if you are working as a research assistant on helping create a bibliography for somebody. So this is what's really neat about EndNote, and I think that's kind of the only reason, well, the main reason to maybe choose this one over, say, Zotero, where you can find a way to share the folders, but it's not as elegant. So I'm going to show you now how to get references from the web into EndNote. So I'm going over to Google Scholar right here. And if you're not using Google Scholar yet, you should, because I think it's really neat. And here I have already searched for a paper using keywords immigrants and Midwest. Well, and I chose these because they're relevant to my own research. And let's say I'm interested in this paper about health information preferences among Hispanic and Latino immigrants in the US rural Midwest. So what I want to do to import this into my EndNote Web, I will click on Cite, and I will click on EndNote in this window. And this is a pop-up from Zotero, which comes up because Zotero is installed, but we don't want that right now. We want to save this file that it prompts me to save, and it goes into your downloads. And by the way, I'm using Firefox right now because I find that Firefox tends to have fewer issues with both Zotero and EndNote Web. Chrome does work, but it gets a little bit wonky from time to time, so as a rule I use and I recommend using Firefox for these types of things. So here's our file that's showing up in your downloads. It's called Scholar3, which is just a generic name that your Google Scholar citation downloads will get. Then I go back to my EndNote and I go under the Collect tab. And under the Collect tab, I want to import a reference. Then I want to browse. And here in my downloads, I have my Scholar3 that I just grabbed from the web. My import option, I'm not entirely sure what this does, but that's just kind of a thing that you need to select with EndNote Web. So EndNote standalone, which is what I actually use, it doesn't have this option, but I found that for the web version, it's just selecting EndNote import right here, does the trick. And then let's say I want to put it in a folder that I've already created. And if you don't have a folder that you've already made, you just don't put it in a folder. So let's say I want to stick it under Hispanics because that's who the paper is about. And then I click import. And when references were imported into Hispanic group. So now if I go into that group, there is my reference. Health information preferences among Hispanic and Latino immigrants in the rural US Midwest. So that's pretty simple. And actually, some websites and some databases will have their own special ways to do with EndNote and to import things into EndNote. And I'm going to show you one of those in just a moment. But for those when they don't, and when I can't quite figure out how to import citation quickly and nicely, I will just search for the same paper again in Google Scholar, and then I will just import it using these steps that I just shown you. But then some databases out there that are available through the EndNote library are going to make your life even easier. So if you go under EndNote library and look at research databases, and one of the very popular ones is is under A actually right away, and that is the Academic Search Premier. And what it is just a collection of citations on a variety of topics from a variety of sources, predominantly peer-reviewed articles, some book references, I believe. So a lot of useful stuff here. And if you go into Academic Search Premier and search again, and here you can use this extended search if that's what you're after. You can refine your search terms and refine your publication date and things like that, but I'm not going to bother doing that right now. I'm just going to do the same query as I did with Scholar. So immigrants Midwest. And there we go. So this first one looks like it could fit. It's about immigrants and their health and healthcare, and that's what I do. That's kind of what my research focuses on. So I click on this link, which takes me to the page for this article. And here we'll have a little cite button as well. And if you click on that, you'll get some citation information, and right here you have export to bibliographic management software. You click on it, and you can choose these different things. Direct export to EndNote Web. Save. And you see it just imported a result for me from EBSCO-host, which is what this Academic Search Premier database belongs to. And then if I go into my references again, and I think that's going to be under unfiled since I just got it, and I don't think it went anywhere. Okay, so here we go. Listening to Chinese immigrant restaurant workers in the Midwest. The article I just downloaded. So I can move it to a folder that has to do with Asian immigrants and their health. So that's how you use EndNote. So let me know if you have any questions.